Oh, my God. We have an Obama quote this morning. It's unfortunate, to say the least. We're going to have the quote.
It's not pretty.
No. It's kind of
I cringed.
Unfortunate. Somebody's believing their press clippings.
Or it's the Kool-Aid effect.
It is the Kool-Aid effect.
You never drink too much of it.
Anyway, so we've got that quote.
He said, quote, "I have become a symbol of the possibility of America returning to our best traditions."
Really?
Wow.
He also went on to say, and this is the moment, as Nancy Pelosi, noted, that the world is waiting for. So, it
sounds like a Whitney Houston song.
Kind of.
This is the moment.
This is stunning that anybody would say this about themselves.
There is the question of, why won't Senator Obama just eat the donut? Why won't he, come down off his perch? I think black men in public life have to walk a very fine line. On the one side, you have the concern of being viewed as the angry black man, but on the other side, you run the risk of looking like someone who's uppity. And I think for the concern that I have for Senator Obama is that he's bumping up against that uppity line, and a quote like that, I have become a symbol, really runs up against that. He's presumptuous. He's someone who's believing his own press.
What about editorial writers? Has he given editorial writers? Has he given late night comedians who say there's nothing to riff off of Barack Obama? Has he given people other than Republicans something to sit back and say?
Here we go, number 10. Proposed bill to change Oklahoma to Oklobama.
Leave aside comedy writers and lowly editorial writers, I do think that it is resonating with voters out there, and particularly folks who are polled.
A new CNN opinion research poll shows McCain advisors may be wrong on that. Only 37% say they view Obama as arrogant, pretty close to what they say about John McCain.
Obama's problem is not the Republican Party. Obama's problem is his own hubris. Yep. You get a vote at the table, too. Do you think Obama may have a little hubris problem?
Yes.
Okay.
The issue of arrogance has come up this morning.
The idea that he's arrogant.
Is Barack Obama too arrogant?
Is he arrogant?
What about this arrogance narrative, this arrogance stuff?
Whether or not he's becoming arrogant, okay?
Obama arrogant.
Some arrogance.
What pre-internet Austrian pundit Sigmund Freud called an ego problem.
What about the charge that Obama is arrogant?
Critics say Barack Obama is already president, in his own mind. That little election thing in November? Whatever.
Is Barack Obama acting like he's already president?
Is he acting too much like president?
Assuming that he's won.
There's the seal on the right there, and that slogan down there, I guess it's
Latin. Latin for yes, we can.
Yeah, Vero Possumus. I thought it meant I'm a possum, but I was wrong about that.
So narcissistic.
That is almost egomaniacal.
It can come off as egomaniacal.
His ego may be getting the better of him.
There's a threshold beyond which it's egomania.
Too big for his britches, putting on airs, swelled head. It's not overconfident. That's not the right word. That's not a strong enough word. Puffed up.
Blah, 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 blah.
You can see it in Barack Obama, the arrogance, the messianism that's been part of his campaign from the beginning. We are the change we've been waiting for. What does that mean? It's so self-involved. You don't want to seem arrogant. And I think Obama's been falling off on the wrong edge on a lot of those things, especially with the Berlin rally. That's where he went too far.
Sounds arrogant to me, Mike.
I'm trying to figure out exactly what people have a problem with. I mean, as far as what he's doing and how he's acting, what's the problem?
Here's the problem. The problem is arrogance. Americans will not abide by arrogance. Arrogance is the enemy. Everybody from Donald Rumsfeld to Martha Stewart.
You think people see him as arrogant?
The Republicans are trying to probe the soft underbelly of Obama, and this is a guy with no body fat.
There's sort of a fine line between this confidence that he has and the cockiness thing.
Has Barack Obama become too cool for school? It's one thing to be confident, but has Obama, as the Washington Post put it this morning, gone from being the presumptive nominee to being the presumptuous nominee?
Presumptuous nominee, not the presumptive nominee.
Presumptuous.
Presumptive nominee.
Too presumptuous. Is his vanity getting in the way? Is his ego too large? We have a young man from the state of Illinois. He's looking for a home for the next 4 years. It's government subsidized. It's called the White House. And there's been a lot of chatter on programs like this and a lot of stuff in print media that Obama's candidacy sometimes verges on the presumptuous. Tucker, you first. Do you think it does?
Of course it does. All candidacies do. You wake up in the morning and you decide of $300 million million Americans, you're the most qualified to be president, you're arrogant by definition. They all are, and he is too. I think it's bad manners. It's the kind of thing your mother would spank you for.
Where is this sense of overconfidence coming from? It seems that the more they underperform, the more cocky they get.
The Washington Post, Dana Milbank piece, he heard it secondhand. It was not said before reporters. We just have to be careful. We've talked a lot about it. I want to hear more about the context. I think we just have to be careful not to go on and on picking apart one statement.
To me, the big difference is the difference between the pronoun I and we. Now, suddenly he's talking a lot about I, and that's a huge difference.
Or are we just isolating those sound bites?
That's Mika. He seems like such an elitist.
I am the change that the world's waiting for. That's the problem. I mean, we is kind of okay. I is, I think, problematic. It's a little too much about this messianic thing.
I think the exact Obama quote was, "I am the light, the truth, and the way. No one gets to the Father except through me. Drop your nets and follow me. I will make you fishers of men." I mean, there's a messianic quality in some of his rhetoric.
You know, I think the McCain campaign likes the image of Obama as a blinged out NBA star because it kind of, sort of exacerbates or enhances this image of him as being, other and being full of himself.
This quote that came out of this House meeting that he had, it turns out it's potentially way out of context, and he wasn't really speaking about himself in those terms, but trying not to speak about himself and trying to make the case that it wasn't about him.
A cold trail of misinformation.
But regardless, this has been bubbling, and even an incorrect quote can sort of pop this.
May now help fuel the criticism that he's becoming a bit too presumptuous.
That helps fuel criticism that he's becoming too presumptuous.
This is what people don't understand about politics. It's a narrative.
People are going to believe what they want to believe, so even if it's not true or out of context in politics, that's why it's happened. That's why it's done. That's why, candidates stretch the truth a bit to attack an opponent. And Obama does come across as a very confident man.
Whatever the truth, watch this story throughout the day today. A lot of people talking about it.
Milbank today, where this guy acts like, he thinks he is the Lord's gift to mankind.
When you look at that quote that Dana Milbank attributed to Barack Obama today, there was no direct quote. He was quoting a paraphrase that was hearsay from another Washington Post reporter. People who were at that meeting say that what Barack Obama was actually saying there was, I'd love to take credit for those huge crowds in Berlin. I'd love to take credit for the kind of reception that I got. But actually, it's not about me. It's about America. And it's about the hope that America could have essentially post-George W. Bush return to our American values. It's not about me. He's actually making a very humble point, but people are very ready to jump on it, take it out of context, and run with this idea that he doesn't know his place, that he's uppity, that he's arrogant.
Well, look, what Rachel said, there was humility, real humility here. Let me read you his direct quote according to Dana Milbank. He's telling the congressional guys, "This is the moment the world is waiting for. I have become a symbol of the possibility of America returning to our best traditions." I mean, upon what meat has this our Caesar fed? He is sounding like America's hot dog, really. Out there, he's in Berlin.
Pat, the issue here, though, is that quote has been disproved today. That quote has been contradicted by multiple other sources, talking to Time Magazine, talking to other reporters, explaining that he did not say that at all.
Democratic Whip James Clyburn was inside that meeting and is an Obama supporter. Congressman, what did Senator Obama really say? How did you interpret what he said at the meeting last night?
What he said was, and quite frankly, it was in response to what one of the members prefaced a question by. He said, "I wish I could take credit for that, but I can't, because it's not about me. It's about America. It's about the people of Germany and the people of Europe looking for new hope, new relationships as we go forward in the world." So he expressly said that it's not about me.
It seems to me that people who don't like him will call him pompous and presumptuous, and people who do will call him cool, acting presidential, shoot another three-pointer, go Obama, go.
Yeah, confident.
And so what is the point of all of this crap?